Okay, so today we are going to take this pile of mess and turn it into Alright, so the first thing we'll want to do is take some measurements of all of our materials, just so we can go ahead and try to plan out how we want to cut these shelves to fit the space that we have. Go ahead and measure these and get all the measurements wrote down. Okay, so next step, we'll go measure the space that we have, and then we can figure out how we're going to cut these shelves to best fit the space that we do have. Alright, so move on to the next room. Okay, so we'll go ahead and check the space we have. Go ahead and write that down. Find it best to draw like a little picture of where you're working so you can get an idea of what these measurements go to. So it looks like 12 inches we should be clear of any kind of obstacles. That should put us out right about here. As you can see, it's a decent amount away from the switch, so we don't want to mess with any kind of electrical. So then we have this space here that we also want to put some shelves in, which we have some room in between here and the door. We'll measure this space here on the other side of this one, and then we have similar space down here to try to tie in the existing decorations with shelves. And we just write all these down. And now we can try to make out a game plan from the materials we have with the given space that we're trying to work with. Alright, so as you can see here, I've kind of mapped out the first wall here, the bigger wall. We're going to do a shelf here, here, and here. And as you can see over here, these are the actual pieces of wood that we have to work with and their sizes. So we will be using the first board for this shelf and this shelf, and then the next board we're going to use for this shelf and this shelf. These two will be 10 inches, and then these two will be the remainder. And then we'll go down to the wall with the little light switch right here, and we'll be doing a double shelf, both 12 inches in length. That way we have the clearance between the wall and or the shelf and the light switch. This should give us lots of extra just surface area to put things. You know how bathrooms can be. Okay, so now that we have all that planned out, we'll go ahead and we'll take our saw and we'll go down to the basement so we don't make a mess up here. And we'll get these cut out to size. We probably will only be making the shelves today. We won't be doing any sanding or painting because it's raining outside and paint doesn't like to dry properly when there's high humidity, low temperatures. So we'll wait for a nicer day to finish these shelves completely. But in this video we'll go ahead and just get everything measured out, find the studs, cut, assembled, and we'll go ahead and put them up on the wall and see how they work. Alright, so now that we're down here in the garage, we'll go ahead and mark off our measurements and get to cutting. Okay, so now that we have these cut, we'll go ahead, take them back upstairs and start marking all the holes for the brackets. Okay, so now that we're back in here, we'll take this, we'll grab the mounting hardware, we'll take a drill bit that's just slightly smaller than the threads. That way we don't make the hole too big, but we also don't want to make it too small to where it causes it to tear up the wood. So we've got that marked. We'll put our screws down here. We'll take this. I'm going to go ahead and drill it on top of the other shelves because actually we don't want to go all the way through the board. We only want to go far enough that the screw can easily penetrate the wood. Alright, so grab our screwdriver. I don't like using the cordless drill to install these because I don't want to accidentally over tighten them and trip out the screw hole. So we'll just do this by hand. Now I'll always get that one started. I don't like to finish it until I have the other screws into their holes also. Now some of you might be wondering or saying to yourself, well, you can't put a shelf up with only one shelf bracket, but this wood is very stout. We're going to be anchoring into the stud. This isn't a real huge shelf, so honestly I think one bracket will be more than enough to hold this thing in place. Alright, so we'll go check it out and see how it looks. Okay, so now that we have the bracket mounted to the shelf, we'll go ahead and drill a couple pilot holes here. And then we'll go ahead and screw in our first screw. And we'll get the second screw in next. Now I'm not putting these all the way in just yet. I want to be able to make sure the shelf is nice and level before I tighten it all the way down. Alright, so as you can see, very solid, even with only one bracket. It's perfectly level. Get a close-up of that, as you can see. And we will throw the other couple shelves up and we'll see how it looks. Here we have these two shelves, and here we have the other 4 shelves. Got that one, that one down there, and also this. Alright, so we've got the shelves made. Now when the weather starts getting a little nicer, we will get these things sanded up a bit and put a coat of paint, or I think we might stain these couple shelves over here. Maybe not. Might just paint them either white or black. I think we'll paint these black so that they stand out a bit. I'm not real sure. Those might also get painted white. We'll see. But there we have it, and we'll get back with you as soon as we can on finishing these up. Thanks for watching.